Okay, so we have new iPad Pro news, and in this video I'm going to ask quite a few questions with which I need your help. I got back from China yesterday, hence the coffee and potentially the very weary appearance. Apologies. We have some good news because there's an iPad event coming next week. And we're expecting new iPad Pros, a new Apple Pencil, and new iPad Airs, including a big one. But what you're probably not expecting is the chip that's supposed to be going into those iPad Pros. It's not going to be the M3, it's going to be the M4, apparently. And that's according to Mark Gurman, the rumour mill expert. This guy generally sometimes knows what he's talking about when it comes to rumours. But it gets even more interesting because according to Gurman, this new iPad Pro is going to be the first AI-first device from Apple. I have absolutely no idea what that means, but, well, it's interesting. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I do have some fairly important questions which I hope you can help with. But first, a very quick word from today's sponsor, because if you are watching this video, there's a very good chance you're an iPhone user. And if you are, you need to see these. This is the Benx Infinity 3-in-1 wireless charger stand, and it makes me wish I was still using my iPhone, and my Apple Watch Ultra, and my AirPods Pro too. However, my new daily driver, the S24 Ultra, and my current favourite earbuds from Sennheiser still work with this stand. And that is fantastic news, because just like all of Benx accessories, the 3-in-1 wireless charger stand is built fantastically. In fact, it feels like Apple could have made it. It's super stable and it looks great on any desk, table or surface. There's also completely free angle adjustment, and the magnets for both the phone and the watch are super strong. When it comes to charging, you'll get up to 15 watts for the phone, 5 watts for the earbuds case, and 3 watts for the Apple Watch. It's perfect for bedtime and desktop charging. Also worthy of mention is the 5-in-1 Benx stand, which is another fantastic wireless charger, but it's also a power bank. This charges just as many things, but it's portable, and there's 2 USB ports on the back. And that means you can actually charge up to 5 things at once. There's a massive 10,000 mAh battery in there to keep you going, which means it's very handy for traveling. To find out more about both of these products and everything Benx makes, just click that link in the description. Okay, so finally we have an Apple event taking place on the 7th of May at 3 p.m. UK time. It's called Let Loose. I have no idea what that means, but this time around the event graphic is fairly descriptive because we have someone holding an Apple Pencil. It's very, very colourful. It's clearly iPad related. However, according to Mark Gurman, again, these are rumours by the way, it's not going to be very long. It's going to be a kind of scary fast style event where it's online only. There are some in-person hands-on things happening apparently, again, across the world for journalists and certain YouTubers. I've not been invited yet, but... And in terms of what we're going to see at this event, we're definitely we have to be getting a new iPad Pro. Surely. I mean, we expected it in March, and then this month, and then nothing. So surely one of those iPads is going to be the iPad Pro. I'll come on to that in a moment. And also the iPad Air is supposed to get an update as well. So a brand new iPad Air and a 12.9-inch version of the iPad Air. Now that is very exciting, but I think most people watching this video, and certainly myself included, are waiting for that iPad Pro. And apart from that new chip, which I'll come on to in a moment, the other change we're expecting is the new OLED display. So finally, we're getting an OLED display, hopefully, on the iPad Pro. And hopefully they're going to move the FaceTime camera from the side of the device to the top. Well, it's to the side, but it will be at the top when you have it on. You know the point. Basically, having the FaceTime camera here it's not great, because every time you have a FaceTime call, you're talking to people like this. So hopefully they're going to move that there. But up until this weekend, that was pretty much it in terms of the hardware we were expecting from the new iPad Pro. And then, well, this M4 news comes along, and I'm fascinated. According to Mr. Gurman, he's hearing that there is a strong possibility, I'm reading his words, a strong possibility that the chip inside the new iPad Pro will be the M4, not the M3. I think that sounds really odd when you bear in mind that the most up-to-date chip, the most up-to-date Apple Silicon chip in a Mac is the M3. To my knowledge, the iPad has never been ahead of the Mac when it comes to the chip. However, there could be method in this apparent madness, again, according to Mark Gurman. By introducing the new iPad Pro ahead of WWDC in June, Apple could lay out its AI chip strategy without distraction. So I think the point he's making is that next week we get to see this new M4 chip. They tell us how amazing it is, the neural engine, all of the AI stuff built into it. And then at WWDC in June, we get to see what they're going to do in iPad OS 18 with that new chip. But the problem with that is that we're not getting the AI-focused iPhone chip, presumably, until, well, definitely not until later this year. And then the Mac, like I say, that doesn't have a really AI-focused chip, or does it? You see, when Apple launched the M3 MacBook Air, they specifically called it, what was it? The world's best consumer laptop for AI. And Apple has been using AI and machine learning for many, many years behind the scenes, but it seems now they're just starting to market it, and that's completely different. For them, AI is now becoming a marketing term. And I think Mr. Gurman has picked up on this as well, because he goes on to say, these new products aren't engineered and developed entirely around AI. This is partly about marketing. Well, I think in 2024, it's all about marketing. So next week, if we do get this M4 chip announcement, I think they'll give us loads of incredibly impressive CPU and GPU stuff. But the focus, the main thing they talk about, I think, is going to be AI. This does beg a massive question, though, which is how backwards compatible is this new AI stuff going to be if you potentially need an M4 chip to make the most of it? The one thing that I'm really struggling with when it comes to next week's event, and again, this might just be because I'm very tired and I need your help. If Apple is going to focus very intently on the M4 chip and its AI capabilities and how that relates to the iPad Pro, we do need to see something. You see, I can't think of a time ever when Apple has previewed something in iPad OS before WWDC, because WWDC in itself is a preview of what's coming later this year. So the next really interesting question is, will they break from tradition and show us the new iPad Pro with a newer version of iPad OS? Will they steal some of the new iPad OS 18 stuff from WWDC and put it into this event announcement thing next week? Now that would be very unlike Apple, but I like the sound of it. And the reason I'm saying all of this is because, again, Mr. Gurman is telling us that this new iPad Pro could be Apple's first AI-first device. Again, I have no idea what that means, but it does suggest that next week's iPad Pro event may be a bit different. It's rumoured, once again, that they're putting stuff into Apple Music, into Messages, into all sorts of Apple apps and services and features based on their own, I think the internal name is Ajax, their own AI stuff they're building. So the next question I have is, are we going to see a glimpse of what Apple has been doing themselves with AI next week? I'll be completely honest, I wasn't that excited about it. I saw the event invite and thought, great, new iPad Pros, a new iPad Air, they're overdue, we need them, but how exciting can that be? But then if you throw an M4 chip into the mix and all of this AI stuff, it could be really interesting. And it would be quite a departure from Apple, because normally these new product launches are just a case of showing what it does, the new hardware, all the stuff they've put into it. They don't tend to focus on one particular new strategy, but this would be that, because that new strategy would be AI. I will be publishing a reaction video to next week's event, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell. But in the meantime, I'd love to know what you think about this. Get involved in the comments.